It's a very fitting topic to start with, Josh. These guys start in their backyard, really lo-fi, like camcorders, I think, or maybe even like the first like phone cameras. And they record themselves doing trick shots. And now they're like the richest people on YouTube.
I was like, literally, they're right up there with Mr. Beast. Like, it's crazy to think about. Well, my kids love it. I watch every episode, every one they launch. We saw them live, super cool. They put on an amazing event. But yeah, a couple of dudes or five dudes started literally doing trick shots, and now they actually, again, if you follow them on Instagram, they just released their new wallpapers for your phone. Like, that's how big these guys. You can get their freaking wallpaper for your phone and your backdrop on your computer. And again, it just came from trick shots. So amazing what can happen when you stay consistent, when you have the right messaging, when you're building a personal brand. And that, Jake, you and I are going to be literally talking about that today. I say we dive right into this. I know we still have a few people funneling in and coming in, but I want to be respectful of your time, Jake. Sonia, are we ready? Can we do this? We ready to go?
Yep.
Let's freaking do this. Here we go. What's up, everybody? First and foremost, welcome to the Momentum Builder Community Call. This is always one of those calls. I have so much respect for Don and Gino, the entire organization, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Sonia and Katie. They're the ones who they do all the hard work behind the scenes. Without Sonia and Katie, this wouldn't be happening. But again, huge shout out to Don and Gino. Don and Gino are actually at a leadership training. So who the heck? They're like, hey, who can really screw this up? Hey, Josh Pitts can probably mess this up. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to mess it up, I'm going to bring somebody who can kind of help me bring it back around and make this shit happen. So I'm hanging out with Jake Fehling, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't know who Jake is, you must live under a rock, because this dude, he's the man, he's the myth, he's the legend. And he's going to be bringing the freaking fire, hanging out with us today. We're talking about social media. Y'all know I love social media. Y'all know how important it is. And I don't know if there's a better example. Literally, I mean this, out of everybody, all my friends, all the people I know on social media, I don't know if there's a better person or a better example than Jake when it comes to really taking the things that he loves and making a brand around it. So we're going to be sharing the fun side of social media. Really, we're going to be rethinking consistency. We're going to be talking about an actual personal brand. We're going to talk a little bit about voice when it comes to social media. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Jake Fehling from Movement Mortgage. What's up, brother?
Josh, man, I missed you. I should have gone. I should have come on 10 minutes early instead of, just a couple of minutes early. It's been too long. And I mean, going back to those, what was it? I don't even remember the year anymore. Agent 2022. I mean, like we have to go back in time. The event was years in advance though. But really, man, I was there when you were doing the interview a day. You went on a campaign. I don't know how many months, maybe you did a whole year, but I remember that was your whole, I'm going to put a stake in the ground. I'm going to interview someone every single day. You had me on there. Casey, our CEO, was a much better interview. You had him on and we got to hang that. So it's been cool to follow you, man. I'm excited for all that you're doing. And so absolutely, I jumped at the opportunity to hang for a bit with you and everybody on. Nice to see everybody.
I say, good to see everybody. And you are far too kind, my friend. It has been fun because we have been friends for years at this point, and I appreciate the kind words. It's just been something you and I have both been probably relentlessly is consistent. Whether, and we're going to talk a lot about that today and what consistency actually looks like, kind of our definition that you and I have for it. But I cannot thank you enough again for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know you are such an integral player in the Movement Mortgage community, helping them grow, helping them stay focused. So before, I want to get into the topic of conversation, but I really would love for those who maybe don't know you to share a little bit about your background and how you got started in this, how you came about it, and then we'll dive into our topic of conversation. But I really want people to get to know the Jake Fehling that I know.
Yeah, so worked in sports for 10 years and started in Olympic sports, worked in golf, worked for the USGA up in New Jersey, worked for the US Olympic Committee out in Colorado Springs, and was fortunate enough to travel internationally a ton doing the Olympic Games in Athens and Beijing and working on championship golf tournaments. And so learned how to hustle. I'm looking at your shirt, man. Learned how to hustle. Sports is you're the coolest guy. I always say you're the coolest guy at the cocktail party because your stories are fun, but you're the most underpaid and the most overworked. And so it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of memories, but when you're spending 2 or 3 months out of the year in, Taiwan and Japan and Europe at events, and you're wanting to start a family, it's just kind of one of those, all right, what are we doing here? And so I made the natural pivot in 2012 to medical device.
Oh,
Yep. Medical device, pharma, biotech. I got into executive search. It was a family business. And we were placing maybe 30 people a year in like board seats and CEOs, CFOs. And I said, that's when I really grew up. That's when I really learned how businesses were run: small, large, private, public, venture backed. Saw it all. Saw companies that were incredibly run, saw companies that were really poorly run. And our job was to bring in talent that could help move the needle. Most of the time it hit, like I say, we had a good track record, but sometimes it doesn't. And you see sort of the power of, what a good hire can or can't make. Did that for about 4 years, but I realized this sort of gets into what we're talking about today. Like that, while the, compensation was great and all the, the opportunity was great, it just wasn't me. And I missed that. When I was in sports, I was in PR and marketing, and I missed that aspect of my life. And, I think many people already know this. So I am Casey's brother-in-law. And so I know this is being recorded. And so you put it out in the world. I always tell people Casey's the worst recruiter in the company. It took him 11 years to get me to come to the company. But no, in all seriousness, I was tracking movement for literally more than a decade. Saw what he was building, all the stories about how he built, the company in his attic, and it's all true. And, started in Charlotte. And, all the stories about how movement gives back to the communities, that's all true. And so what he was doing in the Charlotte community, in addition to building the company, was like, wow, that seems real. This seems real. I've been in all these companies. I've seen good companies, bad companies. I've seen literal teams. This feels real. And when I joined the company in 2017, that's when I said, wow, this is real. And I wish I had joined it 10 years ago. And so it's been quite the ride. Took the marketing gig in 2018, and so I've seen a couple cycles here, and we built a pretty special team that prides itself in serving the loan officer, having a ton of fun, not taking ourselves too seriously, and trying to provide education to borrowers, to agents, and then ultimately to our loan officers. So we have a lot of fun here at Movement. And then my side hustle, I don't know if you're going to mention this. My side hustle is I get to yell at 70,000 people every Sunday in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. So I'm the in-stadium host / hype man. That my title changes every year, it seems, for the Carolina Panthers, which, if you're an NFL fan, we need all the hype we can get, baby. So, but yeah, we have a bunch of fun. I got my wonderful wife, Paige, and 3 kids, and you can find us on social media, probably dancing or making fools of ourselves. But
I'm glad you bring that up, because we're going to be getting into that a little bit later. This is something that I get a lot of questions about when it comes. Oh, look, there you go. There, we got your social media up, so you guys can actually see it. We're going to talk about the Panthers. We're going to talk about your family, how you've integrated all that into it, because you really have. And as you're seeing right here on Jake's page, is you've done such an incredible job bringing personal into the life of marketing and mortgage. And this is something that I think is so overly, it's missed. People don't discuss it in the way that you and I are thinking about it, and we're discussing it today. So I'm really excited to hit on that. And I appreciate you sharing your story. It's so much fun to hear that. You and I have shared stories about the medical device world. Some people know that I had a very short stint in the medical device world, and actually was the representative for the Saints, for the New Orleans Saints. Got to talk to Drew Brees, hang out with them. So you and I have some fun stories of the past, but now we're in mortgage. And we are where we are within this industry. The market is a little bit crazy, and I don't think we could have picked better timing, Jake, to be talking about what we are. Because here's the thing. It almost seems like social media has had this ramp up in the mortgage industry, and people are like, well, yeah, we know we need to be doing it, but we're not, and we don't have a strategy around it. And companies even kind of like almost discredit it as like, oh, that social media thing, it's more of a wasted time. We maybe should be looking into it. And then we just had so much of a business focus on it too. It's like, oh, we just need to be doing business or running ads or doing this. And you and I, we kind of had a very, very different approach. It's like, well, you know what? We're going to have some fun with this. We're going to share the things that we want to be sharing. We're going to be doing the things that we want to be doing on social media. And we're going to build a personal brand around that. And come what may, let's just have some fun with it. And something that you have done so perfectly. I mean, literally, and when I started with my intro, I don't know if there's a better example of anybody out there in our industry or not, of somebody who shares the things that are important to them. And again, go follow Jake's page right now. If you don't follow Jake Fehling on Instagram, go do it, because he is somebody who does it so incredibly well. So Jake, when did you actually realize that social media, and yeah, I would say Instagram's probably Instagram and TikTok. I know you're doing more TikTok right now too, but is Instagram your platform of choice? And when did you decide, like, hey, this actually has something to it? Like, I want to really kind of focus on this.
Well, I am just natural. You hear extrovert, introvert, and then you hear things like an extroverted introvert. So that's my wife. So people say, "Oh, you guys are both extroverts." I'm like, actually, no. My wife is an extroverted introvert. I'm an extrovert. So like social media is just to me like an extension of like the networking event or the party. I like it a lot. And it's interesting you mentioned like what platform I pay attention to. So Instagram is probably the one I love the most. X, we're saying X. X is where all the Panthers fans hang out.
Makes sense.
And so that's where I engage with the fans there. TikTok, I posted one video dressed up as Ted Lasso because I get the Jason Sudeikis thing a lot. And it went completely nuts. And I got a bunch of followers for that. So that is by far where I have the most followers, but like the least amount of like day-to-day engagement and day-to-day posting for me. It's the whole thing is kind of weird. But for me, it's kind of like when I got into Device, and I'm sitting across the table with a CEO and we're getting paid this insane fee to find an executive. And they look at one glance at my LinkedIn and they see sports and baseball and golf. Like, what does this guy know about Device? How does he know what's going to move the needle for my company? Like, you have to hack it. And so I created a podcast around talent and recruiting. And, it didn't have a bunch of followers, but at least it was something I could point to. For this, when I got into this industry, same thing. This guy's never originated. What does he know about mortgage? What does he know about financial services? And so, I mean, truly, Josh, you and I have talked about this. It was like align myself with people like Josh, align myself with people like Dustin Brown, Massive Agent, align myself with just people like all across the industries to hack is definitely the wrong word but to like speed up, to accelerate my knowledge, my influence, my reach. And all that's done is help me build relationships with speakers, with loan officers. And now when I sit in front of recruits, they're like, "Oh, I saw you in the podcast with Josh. Oh, I saw you because you did this silly thing on Instagram." Social media has helped accelerate those relationships. So I've used it as a tool, not just to network and have fun with my personal brand, but also to like acclimate myself much quicker in brand new industries.
Dude, and that's something, again, you kind of saw like, hey, who can I learn from? Who can I attach myself to? And now you're one of those people that you're a leader within the space. You are one of those people that are like, wow, I see what Jake Fehling is doing. I want to connect with him. I want to learn from him. I want to grow from what he's doing. I want to talk about something we hear so much about. We hear this word in particular. And even it's funny because even when you brought up this word as we were kind of preparing for this, I'm like, I think of this word a little bit differently, but the way you shared it made me like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about this in the way Jake has, but consistency. And consistency. Whoa, hold on. What is going on? Am I echoing still? Can you hear me? Jake, we good?
No, you fixed it.
All right, good. Yep. That was weird. Something that as you brought up the word consistency, something I share about consistency is like, we should be posting consistently, 2 to 3 times a week. That is something that is like Gary Vaynerchuk. I talk about this a lot. He's like, you need to be consistently posting 10 times a day. And sometimes that can be overwhelming to us as mortgage professionals, as human beings. But when you talked about the word consistency, and as you brought this up to even my attention, this is what's so fun about this, ladies and gentlemen, is Jake even made me think about it in a little bit different ways. We were preparing for this because how you brought it up, Jake, is almost consistency in the way of content, in the way of something. If you follow you know that you are a huge connoisseur of shoes. Like shoes are something that are incredibly important to you. So you've stayed consistent in the actual manner or what type of content you've been producing. So what does consistency actually mean to you when it comes to social media?
I feel like we need to have like everybody, we get in a big like hug circle here. when you see people like Gary, I love Gary, and everybody, like the whole like posting 10 times a day. Yes, like that stuff works. It absolutely works. I'm seeing it next door with my buddy Montel Watson, his wife, Emily Breeze. She now posts every single day content, sometimes twice a day, and her followership has exploded. It works. Most people don't have an assistant. Most people don't have time to do that. And it can get depressing and it can lead you to just not do anything. I look at consistency as consistency of message. And so you just mentioned it. I'm looking at Nate's comments right now. So Nate's like, hey, if you haven't seen Jake's shoe rotation, you're missing out. Do you know when I started the shoe rotation? Late April.
Really?
It was just like on a whim. I've skipped a couple weeks. I'm just between us, and don't tell anybody other than the 26 people in here. I'm starting to run out of shoes. Okay. So got this whole thing like Jake's got a bunch of shoes. Guys, I'm running out. Point is, I'm not posting necessarily consistently like once every single week. It's pretty much every week, but it's the same thing. When I say consistency, it's the same thing. A couple other examples that I sent to you in text. Adam Constantine, who used to work here. Everybody knows him in the industry as AC. Now he's working with Mr. Beast. The guy's exploded, which is awesome. He, whenever he travels, posts a picture of his leg room on a plane. Not related to personal branding, not related to Mr. Beast, not related to anything. It's not every flight, but it's consistent enough that now he doesn't necessarily have to post his feet. He just shares. This is getting weird. Posting pictures of feet. Now he's sharing everyone else's pictures of their leg room on planes or lack thereof. And so he's basically, again, hacked it to use other people's content for himself. And so now he's the not only legroom guy, but also stand up as soon as the bell goes off in the plane guy. He loves showcasing those people as well. And so that's become one of his things. Now, AC is just an amazing brander. So he's got 3 or 4 of those things. But those are just a couple examples. The other one that I want to give, and I'll give it back to you, Josh, is my wife just left the job, after 17 years in television. She's gone out for business for herself and public speaking and coaching and communication skills. And she's doing really well. She started 3 in 30, 3 tips on one topic in 30 seconds. She posts it basically twice a week, but like there are definitely weeks when she skips, definitely weeks when she does one. But again, it's consistent enough that I know when we go around town, when we go to conferences, when we go whatever together, it's like, I love your 3 in 30. It's catchy. It's consistent enough. People know that she's the person to give 3 really cool tips in 30 seconds. So don't beat yourself up over like, oh my gosh, I got to get this post up. Focus more on the consistency of message, and you'll start to resonate and kind of show up in people's feeds more frequently.
Bro, first and foremost, I had no idea it was April. I would have thought how consistent you've been on the messaging with shoes, that you've been doing it for years. Like, I know. Literally, I'm like, because Nike is a big thing for us. Nike's been a big, like, my wife's mom retired from Nike, so we like everything we wear in this family is Nike. Like, it's Nike shoes, Nike. And so when I'm following along, I'm like, oh dude, those I've seen them, like those are sick. And then you customizing them. So it's so funny that you've been doing it for the short term, but I even associate it with you with that. But it's that consistency of message. And this is what I think is so much more important, that everybody's here, for the 30 of us that are here, is really start to think about what Jake is saying here. Because again, too many of us in the mortgage industry, too many of us in general are like, oh, well, I have to get something out. I have to post something, like, oh, I've heard you. I got to stay consistent. I got to stay consistent. But if the message, if what is being received by your community, if the content you are sharing with them is like, well, this felt forced. Oh, this felt rushed. This felt, they just felt like they had to get something out. I would much rather see you post once a week, to your point, Jake, with something that really, like, you can see your path, like you can see you love it, whether it's shoes, whether it's 3 in 30, whether it's like AC doing legroom, which, by the way, is really funny, because if you've ever met AC, he's a pretty big dude, like you, by the way, like super tall guy. So it's just like, find something that truly people connect with, that people are like, yes, I love this. And I want to take this in a little bit of a kind of a side segment here, because I even saw, I think Nate mentioned it. He mentioned your daughter. Something that you are very consistent with, Jake, is sharing your family. And this is something that is kind of a big deal. A lot of when people join Shred You, or we're talking with them about content, and we're talking about really what they're going to be sharing, this goes to a very personal level, because some people are like, well, Josh, I don't want to share my kids. I don't want to share my family. That's very personal to me. I don't want people knowing about those things. And you and I are on the same page. You see my kids all the time. My kid loves social media. My kids love being involved with it. How did you personally make that? How did you and Paige really decide, like, hey, we're going to share our kid? Like, this is part of our lives. Like, what really led you to that decision in wanting to include your kids in your content?
So there wasn't like an intentional conversation, which you can officially start to judge me and Paige as parents now, which maybe there should have been. We just try to stay aware of just, I guess, the vibe. Like, are they feeling it? Are they not? Ford, our 14-year-old, is definitely entering the like, hey man, I'm not feeling this. Hey, I'd rather pass on this, and it's totally fine. Our son Cal, who's 13, he is like all in on trading cards right now, which has exploded, which as a 43-year-old, like, warms my heart. It's just so fun following him to card shows. The content that is out right now on YouTube around trading cards and collectibles is just, it's so fun to watch. Like, I'm loving watching that stuff with him. So he gets social media, the power of it. And so he's got no problem, popping in a video. June, who Nate mentioned, if you go back to like when she was 6 years old, there was a top 10 most eligible bachelorettes in Charlotte article that was written by this big publication here. And one of the women who was featured, it said, who is your spirit animal? What is your spirit animal? We don't even know this. We barely knew the person. She said, my spirit animal is June Fehling. Look her up. She is just electric. I don't know how else to describe it. She is so much fun. She's like a mini me of, her mom. And she's not like crazy, like, I gotta be in it, but she's always game. She's just got a natural personality that comes out. We are officially in the era, though, of, again, they're learning from YouTube and hearing things. Paige and I, been fortunate to get a couple very, very small, nothing crazy, but like brand deals here locally where, it's like you got to shoot a video and you got to post stuff up. You can see something on Biscuitville and they're in it. And their deal is they get 1% of whatever we earn. And so that's, again, a very small number, but it makes it feel like there's some skin in the game and they feel like that they're part of it. And they, they want to earn money and save money and they want to take it to their card shows or whatever. So it's not a forced thing. We should probably talk about it a bit more intentionally, but they're having fun with it. And so are we. And it makes it feel like a bonding thing.
Okay. So you mentioned the word that, ladies and gentlemen, if you saw leading up to this, the promotion of it, you just said the word fun. And that's what so many people, Jake, they think when they first start with social media, they treat it as a job. They treat it as part of like, hey, I've got to be doing this to build my business. I got to be doing this to build my brand. But something that you do without question is you have so much freaking fun, whether it's the Panthers, whether it's with June, whether it's Paige, including the family. And I think this is something, I want to call it an art, because it really is. Too many people think they need to be utilizing social media, and it can be a very effective tool, which we'll get into later. I think it can be such a fantastic tool in growing your business, but more than anything, you can see the relationship that you have with June and even your kids and the fun that you guys have doing what you do. And that's why I think a lot of mortgage professionals, real estate professionals in particular, they don't even think about it in that way. Like, oh, well, this should be fun. It should be fun, Jake. And again, you're a great representation of the incredible fun and even the relationship. Forget about the relationship you're building with your community, with the Panthers fans, with everybody in your local community, but just the fun that you're having with your kids alone is something that you're like, this is something I can be doing and sharing with the people around me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you see me smiling. It is fun, right? I mean, we're all busy. I mean, I know, Josh, like, you're building something, right? I mean, I know you got some special announcements here coming soon, and I can't even imagine the number of hours that has taken you and that time potentially that it's taken away from your family. And so, I don't want to drop, kind of hokey business, but like work-life integration is a big thing for us. I think Tony Robbins like coined it probably, but, and so it's, bring the kids on the trip, bring the kids on the trips, put the kids in social media as long as they think that it's fun. Pop into the 3 and 30 with your wife, and she's obviously cool with it. If I, you know what I mean? So it's just like, if you can't share in those things and help lift each other, then we're all going to be in our silos. And that's just a pretty miserable experience.
It is a miserable, and I want everybody to rethink what Jake just said there. If you treat it like what we're talking about here, social media will be a miserable experience. It will just be like, oh, I've got to make another post. It will become another part of your job, and it will become something that you will burn out on social media. I have people that I've seen executives, I've seen top producers in the mortgage industry when they're like, oh, I need to be focused on this. I need to be on social media. Social media burnout is a real thing. If you're treating it as that and you're not having fun with it and enjoying the content that you're creating for your communities, you will experience that, and you'll want to forget it. You'll want to delete all the apps. You want to delete Instagram. You want to delete X and all of them. But again, Jake, you have so much fun with it. And I want to kind of transition to the second part, personal brand.
Yeah.
Something that I think we far too often miss is that we truly are building a brand. And again, if you follow Jake or if you follow what you're doing, this is even open doors for you. This is whether, and I'm interested. I know you have a background in sports, and I've never asked you this, so this may not even work out. But the Panthers, how did the whole Panthers thing come to be?
Yeah. So no, it definitely ties in. So really quick, 2008 Beijing Olympic Games. I mean, think about that. Gosh, how old are we? 2008. Baseball had just gotten kicked out of the Olympics. We were in a mad scramble to try to convince the International Olympic Committee to let us back in. And so what do? The Olympics in 2008 were our last Olympics. We pulled out all the stops. We couldn't get the big leaguers to play, but we had the next best thing. We got the guy that ran entertainment for the New York Yankees. So he flew in and he ran scoreboards and on field, all the dancers and everything. He coordinated. He was unbelievable. His name's Mike Bonner. Well, Mike Bonner, after that, we sort of stayed in touch. He then left the Yankees and ran entertainment for the Broncos. Then he left the Broncos to run everything for Notre Dame. Side note, that just gives you an idea of how big the Notre Dame gig is. And then he got the job to run the Panthers entertainment. And so guess what Mike had been doing over the previous 15 years? Following me on social media, seeing how much fun I'm having. I swear, you said I'm not sure if this is going to work, but it literally works perfectly for this conversation. He's followed me on social media. He's like, man, you look like you have a lot of fun. You look like you hype up your family. You look like you hype up your community and your LOs and everything. And he's like, how about hyping up Panthers fans? I swear to you. And so that was 2020. COVID hits. They kill, no fans in the stadium. And I'm like, oh, shucks, well, that would have been fun. 2021, he calls me back. So, this is now my third season, but that's exactly how it happened. He had been following me on social media.
Dude, I'm so glad I asked, because I had a kind of a feeling. I had a gut feeling. I'm like, I would bet. And now, Jake, this is something I reckon. I'm not even a Panthers fan. I'm not a huge football fan, but I'm not a Panthers fan in particular. But I can see your passion and your enthusiasm for it. And if you guys have ever watched Jake when he gets in, when you start hyping it up, people think I have energy and enthusiasm. Bro, I see you and I'm like, holy crap. Like, this is a whole nother level. But you can see, like, it's truly transcending. When I watch you hype up the stadium, I get goosebumps thinking about it right now, because I consider myself a hype man of social media within our industry. But I see you, and it's just something you see, like, you clearly feel what you are trying to do and what you are truly. And why I even share this, and I'm so glad. Literally, we did not plan this, ladies and gentlemen. This was something that I'm so freaking glad that I brought up. But it was because of what you were sharing. It's because you were out there, you were having fun, you were enjoying this, that you even got the opportunity for it. And now you get to stand in front of 70,000 fans every week, hyping and pumping them up. That for me, Jake, again, how a personal brand from the things that you are sharing on social media can open up opportunities and doors we never expected.
Yeah. The picture, I think Sonia put it up there a second ago. Literally, my eyes are like bugging out of my face. I mean, so yes, that was I don't know if you want to show that again, but that was an example of the energy that I try to. Oh boy, yeah, wow,
yes,
try to throw out there. So that's Jonathan Stewart, and just seconds before that, he had hit the drum as hard as I think a human has hit anything, and so we were both just like levitating out of our bodies. But just as a side note, it's a good thing I got a little bit of practice at this. If you guys can appreciate, I'm standing at midfield announcing 4 parachuters coming down to land on the field. If anybody's been to an event, you've seen this. They're all veterans, USAA. Some kind of miscommunication. They hold for 5 minutes, but I'm still going. I had to vamp for 7 minutes, introducing them. There's no script. Introducing them, basically making things up about parachuters, like high above the sky, Josh. Look at these. Look at, you know what? I'm going to read their names again, all by myself, midfield. I have never in my life felt so alone. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was an incredible night. I just wish we could have had a win.
Oh, dude, that is absolutely, and your face right there, again, it just shows your passion, your love for it. And again, the fact that this all came from just sharing the things you love, sharing the things that are important to you about this.
Which, hey, can I tell a story? Can I tell a story from last night?
Absolutely.
Really quick, man. My kid, my 14-year-old playing a soccer game, JV. He stays for the varsity game. I have to run an errand. I come back. He's sitting next to a kid. When I get there, and I'm like, that doesn't look familiar. I walk down. My son also plays football. He's a freshman. Turns out he's sitting next to the senior kicker. So the senior kicker knows some seniors on the varsity soccer team. So he's there, and the two of them are talking. I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. This is, someday he's going to be this kid. As soon as I sit down, it's halftime, and Ford decides to get up to go play on the field during halftime, leaving me with this 18-year-old. And so it's like not awkward, but like a little awkward. I don't know him, and just kicking it with a kid, right? But he's got a ride to kick at Army. And so, Army, you talking about a good character kid, right? And super mature. We end up having the most like adult conversation ever. And he starts talking about Twitter. And he's like, Twitter is it is the number one form of communication for recruiting, because colleges, they don't want to give you their cell phone until they're like serious. And so they use Twitter DMs. And so he shows me his DMs, and it is truly every school imaginable. Like, hey, can you send me whatever? But he said, and so I really think you need to get a Twitter account for Ford set up, now. And he said, but just so you know, don't only post kicking stuff. Don't only post him kicking. And I'm like, oh, I thought that. And he goes, no. When I get calls from these guys, they're asking me, oh, what'd you catch fishing? Hey, how was that, trip that you went on with your family? How's that? He goes, they are far more concerned about you as a person and what you're into than you are kicking. And so I'm looking at my calendar. I see that you and I have the Zoom today, right? And so this is last night when I'm looking at it. Like, is this not the most perfect conversation to have heading into this conversation? And I'm getting like worked over. Like he's like, this 18-year-old is just like making my brain bleed. Like, I don't know anything about social now. Now I'm like questioning everything. But he's just like, it was a perfect example of people want to know about your mortgage business. They want to know about education, but they also want to know about you. They want to know what you're into. And I know this is not rocket science. Everybody talks about this, but they want to know about the person. They want to know about Josh and his family and that incredible view in the background and like the businesses that he's building and things like that. That's the stuff that makes a difference and really builds true relationships. In the span of a 10-minute halftime, this senior kicker at Ford School like reminded me of all that. It's like, they don't care about kicking. They care that I caught this unbelievable bass last night. I'm like, dang, you're right. I mean, I know that, but like, thank you, random 18-year-old on the bleachers. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was a pretty special moment and like so perfect for this conversation.
Dude, it really is incredibly perfect for this conversation. And you even saying it reminds me of it, because think of how I've shared my story many times, but when I was growing my mortgage business years ago, how I got so much opportunity and how I was closing, 20 plus loans a month was from a mountain biking group that I was sharing mountain biking pictures, bro. Like we were sharing, like, we're doing a ride this weekend. Come hang out with us on this mountain biking ride. And agents were looking us up like, hey, I don't want to do more. Like, they just want to hang out with us because we were riding mountain bikes all the time. We were finding trails that nobody had rid. We were getting access from Utah State or from the Division of Wildlife to ride trails nobody had yet because of this group. It was just things we love. So everybody on here, Jake, what I want to really hit home with this is so many of us as mortgage and real estate professionals, we think something of value has to be about the latest or greatest mortgage program or what rates are doing or what programs are doing or this or that. Value is how we connect with people. And again, you are a great example of this. I see you with June posting a video about shoes. I see you with the Panthers. When I see you do that, the physical, like truly, there's a chemical reaction, a physical reaction that happens within our human bodies, within our brains. Serotonin starts flowing. I feel more connected personally to Jake. Again, Jake and I, this is really funny because Jake and I, it's probably been, you and I text back and forth a couple of times a year, like happy birthdays and stuff like that. But this is the first time you and I have actually seen and chatted with each other, probably, I would say 2 years, give or take.
Yeah,
So it's been a time. But I still feel like Jake is one of my closest friends because I see what he's doing. I see his social media. I see him posting about his family. I've got a daughter the same age as Jake's daughter. So I feel so connected with Jake because of what he is sharing. And that is value, to your point. Even to this 18-year-old, the things that he is doing, the things that he is sharing with his community, that's what people want. That's what people ultimately feel. And then it does open up the door for you to be the mortgage professional that you are. But we don't have to be posting. We don't have to share a thing of value about mortgage, Jake. It can be these things that mean something to us.
Yep, you're exactly right. And so I preach it to our loan officers all the time. And, it's, again, I'm not the only one saying this, so I'm not claiming to say it, but, the whole just press record, I mean, it's real. And what makes me the happiest is, I'll see somebody with like really bad lighting, and the framing's like right here. And they're like, all right, so, hey guys, I just want to give you the latest update. And who cares? Who cares? Who cares? It's posted, it's out there, and the next one's going to be better, and the next one's going to be a little bit better. And that's what I said to myself after I posted the first podcast on medical device. Like, seriously, what was I talking about? And then by the end of it, I had a decent idea. And hopefully now I sound like I know a little bit about mortgages, but the only reason I do is because I've learned from people like you, learned from our loan officers, learned from Nate on here. Nate, I'm a big fan of Nate and the content that he's creating for us out West. And yeah, big fan.
It's so funny because even now, I mean, your lighting, your audio looks great. I'm in a place I wasn't expecting to be in our little sunroom today. We had to make a little change last minute, but I'm on old AirPods. I'm using my phone. I'm not overthinking. Like you said, Jake, we tell people this all the time. Just use what you have. Perfection kills progress. Get out there, make it happen, share it with your communities, and they're going to appreciate it. They're going to feel more connected. They would rather see you and hear you than you not show up at all. So be there. Be willing to make the mistakes. That's what you truly learn from. And I'm glad that Sonia pointed out, Jake and I are coming up here in the last 15 minutes. We want to take on questions. So if you guys have questions for Jake in particular about his social media experience, he's one of the masters of social media. You can pick his brain. But before we get into that, I want to talk about voice a little bit, because as you and I were preparing for this, as you and I were kind of ramping this up, I think your voice on social media is something that we don't think about as much. And I know AI, this is a buzzword. Everybody's talking about AI right now, and chat GPT and AI this and AI this, but how can AI actually help us when it comes to creating our voice and the prompts that we're creating?
Oh my gosh. This one, you're right. It is so buzzy, but I'm like, it's so fascinating to me. Not in the sense of like, it's amazing, but because I've seen it. It's been around for long enough. But I am having, with the real life experience, I mentioned Montel. I'm pointing. He's like literally through this wall, and he's being very loud on a conference call, but I'm sure I'm being the same. He is posting Monday motivations. Again, go back to the beginning of this video, same thing. It's picked up recently, and he did a post on how that has led to a speaking engagement for him that he's getting paid on, and how that was a goal of his. But as he's posted those, the captions are incredible. They're incredible. And they include emojis. And I'm like, I don't mean this to sound like whatever, Montel, but did you write that? Like, did you write it? Because it doesn't sound like some of your other stuff. And he's like, nope, chat GPT. And of course I have used chat GPT. I've used it to write job descriptions. I've used it to write blogs. I've used it before. But as it relates to social captions, I like to write. I've always just written my own. And I think everybody on here, I would love to see it in the chat. Has anyone like overanalyzed on a caption before? I know it's like, just post it, just whatever, but like, come on, we're human. Like Montel does not. He goes in and he puts a prompt in. And what I've said, like with voice and like what you put in your captions and voice literally on a video, yes, that is something that you should think about. Like, what is your tone? What's your inflection? Are you hype? Are you whatever? But I'm like voice literally in the sense of like, is it your own or is it someone else's? And so going in and putting in your own voice into the prompt. And again, I'm not saying voice literal, I'm saying like the words, creating a dialed in prompt and then having it churn out whatever you want, the social media caption. It's incredible what can be done. And so I just want to challenge everybody on this call to try it once. And so the prompt can be something like, write an Instagram caption that is humorous but reasonably professional, and give the 3 things that loan officers want to do as it relates to their personal branding to stand out in their markets in the greater Seattle area. I mean, you can dial in that prompt way, way, way more, but that'll churn out something incredible. So again, I know this isn't some like new, like breaking news worthy thing, but just for me in this sort of like rethinking branding, rethinking consistency, rethinking voice in the sense of let someone else be your voice, just sort of those are 3 ways I'm sort of looking at the inverse of things lately.
Oh, dude, this is such a great share. Everybody, if you're not using it, it is literally something that it's a game changer. As Katrina just mentioned, my game changer for prompts is to add this sentence: before you start, ask me questions for clarity. That really helps. Absolutely. There you go. There's a little hack from Katrina. This is really good.
That's really good.
This is one of those, and I'm glad you pointed out the difference in voice, because you and I both, like the way we inflect, the way we actually say, the way we portray ourselves is one thing. But as you're sharing it here, I think it really is we're in a world that continues to evolve. The one constant, everybody's heard me say that, I say this time and time again, the one constant in the mortgage industry is change. You think that's true in mortgage? Social media literally changes by the minute, it seems like. With automation being out, with AI as it's been put into it, things continue to evolve and get better. AI is one of those tools, and especially as Jake is referring to it here, it can be one of the most powerful things that you use. And we use ChatGPT every single day, whether it comes to prompts, titles, but we even use it for scripting. And as many of you know, if you've ever seen me, because I've talked about ChatGPT at length, it will help create a post for me, but then I will say it in my way. It just gives me the idea, and I'm not going to copy it verbatim, but it's just giving me the idea, as Jake is saying, like, hey, here's the structure of it, or here's the idea of it. Now go create. Because many of you have heard me talk about too, steal like an artist. What all ChatGPT is the greatest thief of all time. Because really it's just combing the internet. It's just scraping every idea that is out there and putting it into you so you can say it in your own voice. So talk about taking Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, to the ultimate nth degree. It just helps you become the person that you are with somebody else's saying. So yeah, Jake, I really think this is something that if we utilize it in the right way, AI, ChatGPT, our voice can continue to help us evolve and say the right things, show up in a way that's best for our communities.
Yeah, I totally agree. So it's just something I've been excited about recently. And Steal Like an Artist, that is, you were the one that put me onto that book. Big fan, and I definitely practice that. And also, Jeanette, I see your post, and I'm going to give an annoying answer of like, don't let perfection get in the way of progress. When I hear that question, what I say back to the loan officers, it doesn't matter. So if you go 6 loan videos and 1 personal to start, that doesn't matter. For me, I'm the inverse. So I'm like 6 personal, 1. So, they were scrolling it earlier. There's one where I'm talking to movement school students. There's one where, I'm celebrating the marketing team. I always try to do the work posts through the lens of a little bit of irreverent, a little bit of humor, a little bit of self-facing humor. So it's just, I keep it in my style. I keep it in my voice. But for you, if you're getting started, I don't know where you are on your content journey. I would think less about that and just post. I don't care if all 6 of them, all 7 of them are about loans. If you're consistent in your messaging, like, you do something like this, like, hey guys, it's Jeanette and welcome to your Mortgage Minute. Like, that's about mortgage, but people are like, was it Pavlov's dog? Like, people know, I follow this guy on TikTok that like, let's get dressed. You follow that guy?
Yeah.
Okay. And he does the snap clap like that. Good morning. Let's get dressed. So like, if that's you, it's like, Hey, it's Jeanette. Here's your mortgage minute. Cut. And then the next 55 seconds is you talking. But people are used to that. And so they're not going to scroll away immediately because, like, oh, I know it's coming. So if it's all loans right now and you're worried about personal, make that first part of the professional, the loan stuff, catchy. Try that.
100%. And I 100% agree with Jake. I know a lot of top producers in the industry who are doing mortgage all the time, and it works for them, and that's okay. That's the way they decided to go with it. Jake and I see very, very similar. My rule is 7-1, 7 pieces of personal content before I ever throw, like, again, the book Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. If you've ever read it, I know Jake and I, one of the first times we actually met in person was at a Gary Vaynerchuk event down in Miami, I think is where it was. But anyway, the whole premise of the book is you got to throw jabs. You got to let your people know. You got to let your community know who you are before you throw the right hook. Before you try to sell them on anything, you included, you have to get them to get them comfortable with who you are. So yeah, to Jeanette, to your point, or to your question, and to Jake's incredible answer, don't overthink it. Just get out there and start sharing it. You're going to make mistakes. Your community, I promise you, your community will tell you what they want to see more of. And 99% of the time, it's the personal stuff. Like Jake is sharing that he does so incredibly well. The things that he's doing with Panthers, with the shoes, with his daughter. So don't overthink it. Just have a lot of fun with it. Guys, we've got like 10 minutes left. Like I said, I want to be respectful of everybody's time on here. I want to be respectful of Jake's time, but we do want to answer your questions. If you guys have anything in particular that you want to ask Jake, that you want to dive into, Jeanette had a fantastic question. Feel free to drop those in the chat. We would love to, like I said, get very, very personal. We can get very niche. We can get very focused if you want to. Jake, what's something when it comes to the future of social media, being present, being active, what's something that you're really excited about for the next, let's say, we're coming up to the end of the year, which is crazy, 2023, we're going to the fall season. What's something that gets you really excited about social media right now?
Well, social media always has me excited. I tell you where we're struggling, and I'm like looking over my shoulder at my amazing team that, like, they all run social and everything. I don't think we're struggling, right? But where I think we are struggling to sort of just navigate that next step is the overproduced or highly produced content versus the really on the fly content. And so I give kudos to all my peeps. I gave a shout out to AC. I'm going to give a shout out to my old friend Adam O'Daniel. He's now CMO at Open Mortgage, and super excited for the opportunity he's got over there. If you don't follow them, I always say to all the time, he's got posts. They put out the posts that have, like, let's just say, not enough likes for basically how fun their content is. And it's all done on phone. We make the most incredible stuff. I like when our team posts stuff on social, and it's just such a, like, blessing for me, because, like, I don't know that it's coming all the time, and it just shows up, and I just send a note to the team. Oh my God, what is this? And they're like, do you not remember the meeting where we talked about this? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And I'm just like, I'm just so lucky. Like, I'm just so lucky to have these guys that make these incredible videos and posts. But you know the deal, Josh. It's like, you do it, you spend a ton of time on it, it gets posted. And if it's not backed by a ton of money or part of a big campaign, something that we spend a ton of time on doesn't get a bunch of engagement. And it's super deflating for the people that worked on it. And I just encourage them, like, hey, no, like see the forest, not the trees. Like, this is building the overall brand. But it does lead to conversation of, if we can make 5 or 6 with our phone versus 1 highly produced, so we're just having those conversations, Josh. It's not new. We've been talking about it for years. But it's like a blessing and a curse, right? Of the team that I am gifted, and Nate is part of that. That for every incredible, amazing, oh my gosh, movements marketing is so fun and cool, whatever, should we be doing other things? You know what I mean? So that's the conversation we're having.
Dude, this is incredible. And to build off of that, everybody knows, not to plug what I'm working, I've mentioned it, and it's kind of in a behind the scenes, but Shred It Clips is literally, to your point, too many people overthink it. Use your phone, create the content. It's much better to get it out there. Trust me, I love seeing movements content. I love when you see the video of Casey up there preaching to the entire, like, movement community when he's sharing it, or when you guys are out doing service in the community. That content's amazing. And it is awe-inspiring. But for the 99% of us out there, most of us don't have a video crew. Most of us don't have a marketing team. So go out there, use your phone, use what you have, and again, show up for your community. To Jake's point here, don't overthink it. Just start showing up for it.
Don't overthink it. Hold on. Don't overthink it, Josh. Hold on one second. Let's take a look around here. That's a trash can, folks. That's a trash can. That's a mic, but the mic's not plugged in. Yeah. And all right, fine. I've got a ring light. There's a ring light across the way. Okay, there you go. Can we all just be real? Can we all just show her that's a trash can? And so as I picked it up, everybody in the office is making fun of me. He's like, "You're not really going to do that." And I'm like, "Yes, I am." Because guess what? I am. Boom. Come on.
Dude, you and I have joked about this. You just saw mine. I'm sitting here not in my office on a little stand with just making it work. You're not freaking trash. That may be, I'm going to clip that. That is going to be a post, because that is absolutely, be real, make it happen, because it doesn't really matter. I do want to answer Katrina's message or her question here. It's not related to this, but favorite gear of movement. Bro, mine is your guys' copy of Miami Vice. I still have that shirt. It's is it Miami Vice, or it's the Miami, is it the Heat logo? What is it?
Well, is it a safe space? Because both of those are
highly
trademarked. So I think you hit both of them. Yeah. So we did one of each.
That's what I thought. I was like, I'm pretty sure I have both of those shirts. I'm like, they're freaking sick. Those are my favorite. So
we got to
what's yours? I'm intrigued.
So I'm wearing, I'll see if you can see this. So this is, do you guys remember, again, I've given my age already. I'm not going to do it twice and embarrass myself, but like the puff print, remember puff print? It's like 80s, like Varney.
Oh yeah. Is that what that is?
This is, hold on. I don't know if you could hear that.
Straight up.
Don't clip that. That's weird. Me talking to kids and me scratching my chest. Don't clip those, Josh. All right. But yes, puff print on the shirt. This is on our last drop. Man, we are doing not just fun, t-shirts are our things, but we have hired some incredible people to help us with our gear. And now we're getting really we're just nerding out. So we're getting into the garments, we're getting into the application, embroidery, puff paint, all that kind of stuff. And we're having fun. So that we got our next drop. We do 2 drops a year. We get the next drop in a month. We got to get you some pieces from that, Josh, some of your size, man. We got some fun things coming. So I think for me, it's like, I wear it all, that and shoes and jeans. It's just I got a fun dress code here. But people are walking billboards for us. And so Josh, you talked about wearing it. Our loan officers wear it. They're super proud to wear it. That's like, our thing is make shirts that people want to wear out at night and people want to wear grocery shopping, not just under a blazer to a networking event. What are they going to wear around town? And I think we're doing okay so far.
Dude, you're doing amazing. Like I said, I have so much. I can't wait to get some more swag from Movement, because it's my favorite. Shred swag is that's my jam. But it's one of my favorite hats of all time. Actually, Casey gave me one of the hats, and it's just with the original Movement logo, which was a really cool hat. And then the one I wear to the gym all the time is the one with the M, but it's got all the motivational words within it. And we're going old school swag. Like you guys doing amazing stuff. And I think
I'll do it really quick, because it sounds like you need to pump next week's event. We're getting a DM from Tanya here. Really quick, Jeanette. By the way, shout out to Jeanette for keeping the chat going. These questions, I love getting like in the weeds on this stuff. Just really quick on your last question, they're uncomfortable. So I say you lean into that. There is a very popular meme right now of when the social media person walks in. And, some of them say, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this, the S word. And so like whenever they see the social media person walk in, they all say, and then they all duck out of the way. So there are posts literally making fun of your challenge. And I think if you convince them to essentially act how they normally feel, scared of social media, that breaks third wall, fourth wall, that breaks the wall down of like, oh, wait, I can just be myself and be fun. And then you do a few group posts like that, and then maybe it catches on with them individually. But I always crack up when I see that, because that's me. When I walk in, I'm like, "Hey guys, are we?" And they're like, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Sorry."
You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's my favorite quote of all time. It's something that I know it's hard to, and was it Natalie who said, or not Natalie, sorry, Sonia. No, Jeanette, sorry, Jeanette. To Jake's point, you just the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Even to this day, to Jake's point, when Dal and I, so today's our content creation day, even sometimes I still get a little bit like, oh, do I want to be doing this? Like, do I want to create this? And Jake, who's an extrovert, like it's not the most comfortable thing in the world for any of us to do it. You just have to be willing to, because you never know whose life you're going to inspire. The message that you share, the post that you create and you share with your community, that has the potential of actually influencing and impacting somebody's life every single day. So the fact that you get out of your own way and share something with them to help the surrounding world, to make the world a better place, that's what is more important. Okay, now we have to do, we're going to wrap this up. Sonia does have, guys, I want to give a shout out before we end this. There's nothing I could say to thank Jake enough to really show my appreciation and gratitude for him for taking this time, being with all of you and sharing everything that he has. So please go follow Jake, engage with his content, and really learn from him. He's truly an inspiring person and a leader. So Jake, my friend, I cannot thank you enough for being here with us today.
No, it's a pleasure. Thanks for the folks that stuck around. Thanks for everybody that asked questions and engaged. I love this stuff. And I mean, Josh, again, this has been like we've gone in our feels here, like love fest, but like, really do appreciate our relationship and always happy to jump on anything you're a part of.
I really appreciate it, brother. And I'm going to be taking up on that. Lots more fun things to come. But guys, again, huge shout out to the Momentum Builder community. And next week, if you guys thought this was great, next week is going to continue on with so much energy and so much excitement. If you've never seen Todd Duncan speak, you're absolutely missing out. He's also another incredible friend of mine, and he's going to be here next week on the Momentum Builder Call, sharing how you can truly change your mindset to dominate within this market. So next Thursday at the same time, and then the week after, Arjun Dhingra, ladies and gentlemen. Arjun is an incredible producer himself in the mortgage industry. So make sure that you tune in the next couple of weeks to the Momentum Builder community calls right here. And then, of course, we would be amiss if we didn't shout out for Momentum Builder 2024, February 20th through the 22nd at Park MGM in Las Vegas. I'm going to be there. I hope Jake's going to be there. I know Casey Crawford from Movement's going to be there. There you go. Casey's going to be there from Movement Mortgage. It's going to be an incredible event, and we hope to see you guys there. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We love you. Have an incredible week, and if there's anything we can ever do, let us know. Jake, see you, brother.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
So come on, tell me what you heard.